That is fantastic. Hey, the Fed's threatening school lunches as a national security concern. Yep. The Obama administration cracking down, banning drinks like Gatorade, salty snacks like crackers and cheese. Why? It's a security threat. That, according to the USDA, obesity is not just a health issue, it's an economic and national security issue. Sounds ridiculous on the surface, but the government claims obese and unhealthy kids will lead to a lack of Americans' eligibility for the military. Is that a good case for Big Brother to step in? Here for a fair and balanced debate, Dr. Sue Dukakis and Whitney Neal from the Bill of Rights Institute. Welcome to both of you. Dr. Dukakis, do you think it's a national security threat, the obesity problem amongst kids, and how it relates to school lunches?
I definitely do, when you consider that 65% of our children and adults are overweight and about 20% of them are obese. And these numbers have been consistent now for quite a while. The obesity rate in the U.S. really started to skyrocket in about 1980. And we don't have a hold on this problem at all. We have no idea what's causing it. But I think that we have to really start looking into why this obesity epidemic is raising.
Right. And the first stop is the schools. Whitney Neal, you're a former teacher, now at the Bill of Rights Institute. So do you think schools is a place to be? After all, I can still bring whatever I want. It's when I buy school lunches is a key.
Yeah, so I think this is another one of those times where we've identified a real issue. You know, childhood obesity is a significant problem, but it's one of those where if you hear I'm the government and I'm here to help, you start to get a little scared. And we've seen this impact of these new standards on the classroom with more than 1 million students now opting out from bringing their lunch. So if we're going to address this crisis, if we're really going to look at it at a fundamental level, we're seeing that 1,800 of pages of regulations on cafeteria workers isn't meeting the needs of those kiddos.
And doctor, I'll tell you what, the fact is, and the kids don't lie, they even made up music videos about it. They're seeing the new regulations and the food that they could buy, and they're throwing it out.
Well, that's really a shame, but I think at least we're talking about this issue. And we really need to address this issue as a community, as a family. The government has to get involved because the government has not done enough to really determine what's causing obesity. And the number one cause of obesity, which is insulin resistance, is caused by toxins in the environment. So what's the government doing about that? It's more than just about what we're eating and the lack of exercise.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think also is good, Whitney. I love the fact that they're reemphasizing gym and getting the kids active again. I think that is the ticket, along with educating them along the way on the choices they can make. But give them the choice.
That's right. You know, when local schools have the ability and the flexibility to put kids back in PE class, to extend the time that they have in recess, and to come up with innovative solutions like gardens at school where kids are actually in their science classes growing the food and then eating it at lunch, those are awesome opportunities when freedom and flexibility at the local level is offered. But again, you know, when we look at the federal government coming into the cafeteria, I went to my son's school last year, and I'm sitting at the table and I look across, and the kids all have these Dixie cups on their school lunch trays. And I asked what they were. They were salads, 4 pieces of lettuce with a cherry tomato on top, and they're all in the garbage can when I leave.
Wow, kids just love Dixie cups of salad. And Dr. Dukakis, we all want to get on the same page. It's just how much the government can do from Washington to help us in Iowa and Dallas.
Well, the government doesn't have a great reputation with helping with much of anything, but at least we're here today talking about this issue, right?
Right. And
why do all these kids have allergies today? They didn't have them 30 years ago. And why has the obesity rate risen like at a 90-degree angle since 1980?
Right. And I do think those are very good questions, but the kids are going back to school, and let's see if they're going to bypass that lunch line or bring their own or just go hungry. Dr. Sue Dukakis, thanks so much. Whitney Neal, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great Labor Day weekend.